Any business that cannot be technologified is not a business of the future. Anything that that technology cannot improve its processes, then is not a business that that is in sync with the future. So you want to ask questions of what are the processes that I can technologify. Now, this is my own words. You won't find anywhere in the dictionary. What are the processes in my business that I can technologify? How can I technologify my business? How can I use technology to improve my offerings? How can I use it to improve what I'm doing? How can I make use technology to have a lot more cost saving and more impact creating processes and those kind of things, especially with your procurement processes and all of that. And then, of course, there's the legal component, which is similar to compliance and regulatory mechanisms. Because legal, if the government places a ban on the kind of business, for example, I remember when the government set out to try to improve local production of poultry meats and eggs. So one of the first things the government did was to place a ban on imported chicken. So for anywhere you find those things that basically exhibits, you can't, they're not supposed to be, I mean, the law enforcement agencies were sort of empowered to confiscate them and, destroy them as they were at that time. So those are some ways that this can actually affect your business. And of course, schedules. Schedules here refers to your scheduling in terms of production, your scheduling in terms of your staffing, your scheduling in terms of everything. And of course, marketing. How do you market your products? How do you go to the market? How do you take your product to the market? How does the market come to you, or do you go to your market, to sell your wares? Now, market here is not speaking about market itself. Market is your customers. What is the size of your market? What is it? What is your market asking for? Basically, speaking about your customers. So I'll just take it together: marketing and customers. What is it that they're asking for? How do you delight them? How do you wow them? How do you give them that delighting and exciting experience? How do you surprise the market? How do you enter into it? How do you convert your potential customers to become your how do you convert them to become a leading customer? And how do they become paying customers? These are steps. So you have people who have entered into your sales funnel. You convert them from just being people in your funnel. You convert them from just initial conversations, to leads, from leads to paying, and then when you have paying customers, how do they retain the customers? So there's no point attracting when you cannot retain. So you need to also work in your retention plan in terms of your customers. And of course, we need to look at the economic and political considerations in the environment where you are. How does the economy play out on your business? Economy, in the sense that, okay, so if the economic downtime is harsh on the populace, that means that people will not have enough money to buy your product, to buy what you're selling, especially if your product is a substitute product, sort of a thing. I mean, when it's not a major, a need or a problem that people need to always run to, they probably will jettison your product. So, for example, in today's world, people have to finish eating and they're satisfied before they begin to think of traveling. So if you're into the traveling, if you're into the traveling sector, hoteliers, you probably would have to wait for people to finish, taking their first, the main constraint, tackling it before they begin to think of, looking at pleasures. And of course, you have the know-how, technical know-how. How do I know about my business? Why am I in the business? What is it that I need to do? If I don't know, if I don't have the capacity, to manage the business, do I need to build capacity? What kind of capacity do I need to build? What sort of technical skills do I require? What sort of competence do I need to display? What sort of level of mastery should I display in my business? I know the level of mastery you display, oftentimes it takes or determines your sphere of influence. So if you're a good and skillful worker, competent worker, you provide services to celebrities, to kings, you'll be sought after. And obviously you get your kingly rewards or celebrity rewards as the case were. And then lastly, what is the implication of interest rates and exchange rates, which is also akin to economic and political considerations. So I need to quickly mention here that your business, every new business goes through a certain, a paradigm, which is uh, what we call a roller coaster experience for businesses. So you're up today, 1 minute you're down, next minute you're going through a wind, another minute you're going through, you're having a dip, and you're having a peak moment, and all of those. So it's a roller coaster kind of a thing. But for you to be able to persevere, and stay in your business, there are a number of things that you need to build, a number of resilience that you need to have, a number of things that you need to begin to make sure you acquire so that your business doesn't get hit, by this sort of roller coaster thing that is synonymous to new businesses. Now we're talking about business management. I need to take a bit of a time, talk about setting up a business, starting your business and taking it to the next phase before we get into business management. So I define business as when you're managing a business, you ask questions like what kind of support or management strategy does my business require, and that will help you, to take your to manage your business appropriately. So quickly, I just want to define business. So the director asked me to speak on business management. So managing a business is you having executive control or authority over a business, executive control or authority over that particular business. So you as the MD or as the lead, as the promoter, as the founder, as the owner, as whatever title you have, you as the manager is you have executive powers and control over the business. You have the hire and fire power. You are the one who dictates, who says, do this, don't do that, and those sort of things. Because management function is you plan, you direct, you organize, you execute, and you manage. So those are the management functions as a manager. And then, of course, the next definition I need to put on the table is what a business is in terms of managing a business. Business, of course, this is my definition, is simply the act of selling goods and services over an agreed value. Now, let me skip all of this. I'm sure you know all of these ones, the how to start a business. Let me just skip it and go straight to the main conversations, which is business management because of time. So for you to manage your business is like when you have a newborn baby. So every child, when they're newly born, even up until their old age, if, with their parents being alive, um, they need some attention, they need some care, they need some support, they need some tender, loving care. So for a baby that is newly born, they need attention, rapt and delicate attention, to ensure that they grow accordingly, they grow appropriately. And then in growing, the children require milk, require certain vitamins, require certain, minerals to keep them growing. So this, I call this things management vitamins for your business. So for a new business, I know I'm speaking to people who are just going into business at the first time. That's why I've done this. You require some minerals, some vitamins to keep your business going. And one of those vitamins is there are three things that you should consider in your business as a business owner. The three things to consider are your customers, your team, and yourself. So you're managing your customers, you're managing your team. So your team here is the members of staff, and then yourself. You ask me, Kenneth, how do I manage my customers, or how do I manage my team, or how do I manage myself? I'm going to talk about that, shortly, while we make progress. So, speaking about managing your customers, the first management nutrient or vitamin is what I call customer focused. You are customer centric. You are interested in your customers because your customers are actually the lifeline of your business. If you don't have customers, then you're not in business. If you don't have people who would buy from you, you just end up producing for yourself. And when you produce things that you like, you end up buying it. You then become your customer. Yeah. So you need to find out who are my customers? What are they asking for? How do I delight them? What do I give to them to surprise them? What are the kind of things that I'm going to put on the table that they like to see? What are the kind of things that will dazzle them, whet their appetites, make them to ask for more, make them to buy a lot more from me? Who are these my customers? How do I even know my customers? You must have what we call a mapping and profiling, template for your customers. You need to describe who your customer is, what they look like. They often say things like you need to describe success, otherwise success will walk past you, and you won't even realize that success just walked past you. That's how it is with your customers. You need to describe your customer, create an avatar, create a personnel for it. Say, my customer is this, he has this amount of money, he lives in a place, this sort of a place, and these are the sort of things that my customer desires, these are the sort of things that my customer wants, and these are the kind of things that they would like to see me do. And when you do that, you have been able to satisfy your customer's preference and able to meet your customer's need, and been able to keep them going. You even have your customers coming and speaking for you, talking to other people and telling them that this person, for example, Empire Foods, they are very good in this area. They have done this for me. So you have quite a lot of customer reference, referees, coming to your business, asking you to do things for them, opening, causing them to 1 minute, please. You want anything? Go ahead. In the back. I don't know if I don't think, yeah, I think in the back. All right, thank you. I know. Hello, sorry, I had to get the door for someone who needs to do something for someone in the office where I'm seated. So for for you to for you to sorry, I think my screen is blank. Okay, so you need to be able to describe your customers, to know what they're asking for. And one smart way of doing this is to use surveys to find out from your customers. So at every point in time in your business, you need to have a feedback mechanism. That's one of the things that you need to do in terms of business management. For you to be able to manage your customers, you need to have a feedback mechanism, have a survey where you ask simple questions, not too many boring questions. How did we how did you enjoy our service? What else would you like to see us do? How do you like our packaging? Would you like our product to be packaged in a different way than what you've done? What is your preference? Would you like our product to be oval shaped? Would you like it to be cylindrical? Those kind of questions would open your eyes and let you see what your customers are asking for. If you have more people asking for a particular shape of your product to be oval, then you know that a lot more people are asking for your product to be oval shaped. So your product, you have to shape it in an oval manner, as opposed to somebody in the office, maybe your production director, who thinks that it's best to have a rectangular shaped, product. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. Are you listening?
Yes, sir. we are.
Okay, so I
Hello.
like I like I
We
like
are.
I like I like I like I like I like I like to give you the class a quick sort of a quick task. So in designing a survey, what are the key questions you would ask? You can type it on the chart. When you design a survey to collect your customers' preference, what are the key questions you want to ask? Fastest finger. Are you guys with me? Vivian,
Yes, sir. I am.
your team, I'm asking.
Can you rephrase the question again?
I'm
Can
saying
you
that
rephrase the
I'm saying that when you're trying to get when you're trying to manage your customers in your business and you're trying to find out their preference, what are the sort of questions you would ask? Just give me maybe two, three questions that you would ask. Is that clear enough?
yes? Yes, it is. I'm typing.
What does your customer like? You're asking the customer, what do you like? Okay? And so in asking that question, you should be able to list your if you have different products. So let's say, for example, you're into yogurt production. So you have probably have um, um, you have the strawberry yogurt, you have um, the classic yogurts, and then you have maybe orange flavored yogurts. Yeah, you want to list that. So which one is your preference? Strawberry,
Flavors.
classic yogurt, and all of that. Okay, that's fine. And what else can we do to improve our services? Okay, style of product here. What do the customer consume the most? Fantastic. And what product does your customer use the most? Excellent. What else? What else? I'm waiting for something. Okay, so let me give you a tip. It's a demographic question. It's very, very important that you find out what demography the demography of your customers. Are they adults? Are they children? Well, of course, children cannot respond to your survey. So as adults, you want to find out what are the age ranges. Is it 18 to 30, 31 to 40, 40 to 60, above 60? Because you know age-wise, different customers have different preferences. And I also want to ask questions like what their location is. So, for example, in Calabar, I don't know Calabar too well, but maybe you can say the Mayam Road axis. Um, you have the maybe the Dupani Road axis, the yeah, so something like that, that sort of segregation. You have, yeah, fantastic demographic of the customers. Yes, of course. Yeah, the age range and cool. You want to ask those kind of questions because you want to be able to put your customers in a pocket. You put them in boxes. So you know that this box, this is what these people are asking for. You want to also ask questions round about their income size because taste differs along income size. There's what we call willingness to pay and ability to pay in economics. They are usually mismatched. Someone can have the ability to pay but doesn't have the willingness to pay. And somebody can have the willingness to pay, but doesn't have the ability to pay. So for you to sell a product, both of them has to be at congruence. So you must have the ability to pay and have the willingness to pay. So willingness to pay is when somebody comes to you and say, "I like to sell this thing to you." I'm like, "Oh wow, this looks nice. This looks nice. Wow, this looks nice." But you don't have the ability, you don't have the cash to pay. You say to the person, "Okay, so can we have a further discussion on this?" What you've actually done is you've deferred the payment because you don't have the ability to pay, but you have the willingness to pay. Now, you meet someone who has the ability to pay, but doesn't have the willingness to pay, the conversation will probably be like this. Um, oh, wow, 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 interesting. Oh, very good. Oh, okay, 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 that's fine. That's okay. Okay, okay. Maybe I'll call you. I'll call you. We'll talk about it later. That's a conversation with someone who is not willing to pay. He doesn't have the flair for it. But although he has the funds, but he doesn't want to buy it. Yes, income size, willingness and ability to pay for product. Yes, of course, there must be congruence. Yes. Okay. So that is that for your customers. You need to be able to devise creative ways of understanding your customers' needs and preferences. Um, Now, the other thing I need to quickly mention is that customers differ. The customers, their preferences differ alongside income. And of course, the way you treat a customer that is a premium customer is not the same way you treat your basic customer. The reason why I say so is because your premium customers are supposed to be the ones that, yes, you make a lot more money from. And they ask for more bespoke services. So some of them will ask you to bring the product to their house. Some will ask you to come and conduct your product testing and sampling in their homes. That's because they're premium customers. So it's like the governor of Cross River State, you're going to sell something to Professor Ben Ayade, and you don't expect him to come to you. You take your product to him. That's a premium customer. But people that are basic customers, so maybe the likes of myself and my colleagues who would normally come to your shop, come to your office, come to your factory to talk to you, but people who will just, you know, give the basic service. But I need to warn you that when you're treating different customers at different segments, you need to have a basic level of customer service that is basic to everybody, whether it's a basic customer, whether it's a premium customer. So the next vitamin is the vitamin of consistency. The next management vitamin is the management vitamin of consistency. Now, consistency relates to you being consistent in your words. When you say you're opening at 8 o'clock, you open at 8 o'clock. You're consistent in your offerings, in your promises to your customers. You're consistent in your promises to your team members. Now, this is the first time I'm talking about team members. You're consistent in your promises to your customers by not under delivering, and you're also consistent in your promises to your staff members. So you don't want to hire someone and you tell the person, I'm going to pay you X amount as salaries. And at the end of the month, you then pay the person Y amount or pay the person U amount, which is the lesser amount, or you don't even pay at all. They come up with stories like, you haven't done this, you haven't done your work, you're supposed to do this, but you did not do it, and those kind of things. When you do those kind of things, people will lose trust in you. And when they lose trust in you, you'll never be able to hire anybody again. Because when you do that, people will go about and say that this person, please just ignore this person, and is not a good paymaster. He's not a good manager. Because you've not set realistic targets for your team members because you keep shifting the goalposts. If you say to your team member, you're supposed to do this at a particular time, and they don't do it, then you know that you'll be able to punish them or apply the stick measure to them. So for you as a manager, you need to have a stick and a carrot approach to your members of staff. A stick to reward them, a stick to discipline them when they don't do what they're supposed to do, and a carrot to reward them when they do what they're supposed to do or exceed it. That's how a team works. A team doesn't pull itself well when each individual member focuses on their own targets. A team means together everybody achieves more. That's a basic acronym that we all know. So, and that can only be done if you set realistic targets. You set targets that are realistic, that are achievable by everybody. You're consistent in that. And the other thing I need to talk about consistency is consistency is you having the ability to produce the same thing, the same products that you've had at different times and at different requests. So if you're producing, for example, you're producing toothpaste. Now I keep saying Empire because Empire, the team that Vivian had assigned to me, that she's working with, Empire Food, they're going into food waste, food recycling to reduce or eradicate, post harvest loss. Now, if intent, what if for example you say you want to be producing, let's say for example you want to produce cassava chips from cassava cultivars. If what you're producing is at this consistency, you maintain that level of quality and product at every time. So if you're producing cassava chips, it has to be crunchy, crispy at every point in time. That's consistency. I know what consistency they say is the key, is the mother of impact, is the key to success. Consistency and success, they are good friends, they hang out together. When you find consistency, you find success with it. And of course, consistency requires discipline. You have to be disciplined to be consistent. If you're not disciplined, you will not be consistent in your work. If you're not disciplined, you will not be able to, to hire a member of staff and say to staff, I'm going to pay you X amount and I'm going to give you Y pex, and then business is not going as it ought to, and then you still do all of those things. It's consistency and discipline that make you to fulfill all of those promises. Now, it's best for you to under promise and over deliver than to over promise and under deliver. Did you get that? It's best for you in business, in managing your business, to under promise and over deliver than over promising and under delivering. It's best for you to do that. You know? So, and of course, when you're not consistent, you lose trust. When you're not consistent, you lose trust. But when you're consistent, you build trust. And of course, you establish reputation. Because if I come to your office, you're supposed to resume at 6 in the morning, you're not there today, Thursday, and I come back another Thursday, 2 weeks from today, and you do resume at 6 in the morning, what will be in my mind? I throw that question to you, class. What will be in my mind? If I come to your office today, you're supposed to resume at 8 in the morning. That's what you said. That's what your mission statement is. That's what you loudly pronounce, that this office opens 8 in the morning, and I show up this morning 8 o'clock, and on Thursday today you're not there, and I come back 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks Thursday from today, and you're not open at 8 o'clock. What do you think will be in my mind? Tell me, guys.
you overpromise and you underdeliver in the sense
Okay. Okay.
that you didn't actually take your business seriously.
Fantastic.
That could make you, yeah, lose customers. Okay, no
Yeah.
matter the excuses that you give, to wave that off. I mean, first
Okay.
impression matters.
Sure.
Showing up to work late means that it's something that is consistent, that the person actually does show up late and is not serious about that particular business.
Yeah.
So I would
Thank you,
say
Vivian. I've seen Maxine Victoria. Thank you. You said, not serious. Of course, you're not a serious person. You're not a serious person. I'll go. Even if you resumed at 8 o'clock tomorrow, Friday, and you resume all through till that next Thursday that I showed up, and you're not open at 8 o'clock, I will still think that you're not a serious person because I did not see you open before 8 o'clock or open at 8 o'clock. The other times, I'm not there. I only showed up today, Thursday, and I come back in 2 weeks' time, and that same Thursday, you're not open at 8 o'clock. I would assume that you're never open at 8 o'clock. I've never considered you as a serious person, as a trustworthy businessman, as someone that I want to hand over a part of my life to. Because you know what, when people buy stuff from you, they're technically handing over a part of their life to you. And by so doing, they're being loyal to you. So when people buy things from you, so if for example, you're selling toothpaste and I buy a bar of toothpaste from you today, and I come back in 2 weeks' time to buy another bar of toothpaste, another tube of toothpaste, I come in another 2 weeks and buy another tube of toothpaste. What have I done? I've handed over my my mouth hygiene to you. I've committed it to you. So I'm loyal to you. And let me tell you one thing. When people buy stuff, first time someone buys anything from you, they buy it from you because you sold the benefit of that particular product to them. That's why they bought it in the first instance. That's what happens when people buy things from you in the first instance. And oftentimes they don't return to buy that particular product from you a second time. Now, if they return, that means they're loyal to you. That's how you've established loyalty. And consistency is something that helps you to establish loyalty. So I buy a particular, like if you took the example I gave earlier on, someone who produces and sells locally made toothpaste. Yeah, I buy from you first time, you convince me, oh, Kenneth, this toothpaste is very good for you. It will do this, it will do that, it will aid, maybe help you to arrest plaque, it will help you with keeping your mouth hygiene, so you don't have smelly mouth and breath and all of those sort of things. Okay, and I buy it because I've heard you tell me the benefits of that particular toothpaste. I go away, use it, utilize it, and it turned out to be what you said. I'm going to come back because you've been consistent in the quality, been consistent in what you said. I'll come back to you and I buy it. Yeah, that's you have exhibited consistency. Now, after I bought the second time and I keep buying from time to time, I'm not expressing loyalty to you. And you know what? Buyers, usually customers, express loyalty in three ways. You express loyalty to the products on sale. That's the first way you express loyalty. The second way you express loyalty is you express loyalty to the promoter of the product. So, for example, if it's not the owner of the business that's promoting the product, so if you have a big establishment, they have your salespeople promoting that particular product, they promote it as though it's theirs. They own it. And that's because you've actually made your staff to realize that they are part of your business, they're part of it. That's why they will own the product as theirs. So customers will show loyalty to them, the promoters. So customers will show loyalty to your products and show loyalty to the promoter or show loyalty to the entire organization. So for example, I do work for Coca-Cola. So I'm loyal to the brand Coca-Cola. So anything from Coca-Cola, I will buy because of my loyalty to Coca-Cola as a brand. So it's not a matter of whether who promotes it to me or what. I'm not interested. I'm just loyal to the brand Coca-Cola. Yeah, that's my own preference. For, I mean, Vivian will understand why I'm saying all of this. You know, so 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 and there are times where customers will express loyalty to the promoter of that particular product. And that happens particularly amongst the bankers. When a banker leaves the particular bank and moves to another bank, the banker will leave with all of their customers that they built over time in their portfolio. And that's because the customer is loyal to the promoter of the product, who is that banker, not the bank as the organization. But you want to have people that are either loyal to the product. So the product, loyalty to the product is that particular product. So they buy that particular product solely. That's the only thing that they're loyal. They're not loyal to the promoters, they're not loyal to the organization. If another person produces a similar product, they will shift their loyalty to that person. So you rather have your customers to be loyal to the organization. And you want your staff to be loyal to the organization. So the staff will not leave. The staff will stay with you and grow with the organization. The customers will stay with you and grow with the organization. So that's one of the things that consistency will do for you. It also establishes reputation. I thought that let me take a few seconds and deal with that reputation. Reputation is where people can say, "Oh, I trust this person. This person can deliver. This person can do it," and those sort of things. So it's not a matter of not a matter of not a matter of so people can actually say, "I'd rather go to this person even though he's expensive, but I can trust him that he will provide the service I'm looking for." Have you had that sort of situation before, where you say, "Oh, this person is cheap or is expensive, but I can afford him, but he's not fast in delivery. His customer service is very, very poor. I cannot vouch for him. I cannot recommend him to any other person. I can tolerate him, but I cannot recommend him to another person." That's that's where your reputation is at stake as a business person. That's where reputation is at stake. And of course, business management for your customers, consistency will also enforce, establish and reinforces loyalty and ensure that people come to you from time to time. Your customers will always return to you and ensure that they are buying from you at every point in time. So your reputation is further enforced, reinforced. Now, lastly, the last management vitamin I'm going to talk about this evening is the vitamin of creativity and innovative thinking. Now, of course, you definitely expect that I'm going to talk about future thinking. I'm a futurist, so there's no way I can have my conversations with people and I don't talk about the future because it's very, very important that we are mindful of the future. We're mindful of what happens tomorrow. Now, if you look at the pandemic, what is done to businesses and what is done to people, um, people were not prepared, people were not ready, particularly in Nigeria. People did not see it coming. But now people are beginning to get ready, to adapt to the new normal, which is all about technology. It's all about, which is all about creating electronic platforms to technologify your processes. That's why I said earlier on that if your business cannot be technologified, then your business is not the 22nd century. Now, it used to be 21st century, but it is now 22nd century, post coronavirus. So you want to be able to apply innovative thinking. You want to be creative. You want to get yourself thinking. You want to ask questions. What are the artifacts I'm going to get from the future? Now, remember that archaeologists and historians, they'll get artifacts from the past, and they use it to describe the way of life of the past. But artifacts from the future is what you and I need to bring to the present. Go into the future and bring artifacts from the future. and bring the kind of life that they have
Please,
in the future.
I think
That
that we
is the
have.
key. That is the key management tool. Is someone speaking?
All right, good evening. This is what I think we can do, or we should do. Is just visit the entertainment or the menu or something.
You said what?
Okay, this way. Change everything from snacks to biscuits. Cut the normal burger.
Hello, 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 hello.
Cut the
You
normal.
interrupted the facilitator. Hello, who is speaking?
Can I go on, Vivian?
Yes, please, go on.
Okay. So I was talking about bringing artifacts from the future. And how do you bring artifacts from the future? You have to look at signals and trends. What are the signals that is being presented to us? What are the things that we see on a daily basis? So looking at what is happening today, everybody talks about electronic platforms, people holding meetings. We're having this conversation on Zoom. If we're supposed to, if all of these things hadn't happened, we probably would have said, maybe Vivian would have been thinking, scratching her head, where's she going to get money, to bring me to Calabar and bring all of you, together in a room, pay for the hall, pay for all of those things. But in today's world, we have Zoom where I can sit in my office, wherever in the world. Now you don't even know where I am. Now, I don't know where you guys are. I just know that someone is in Calabar from Crewtech that have arranged this meeting and I'm speaking to the audience, wherever they are. That's because somebody had gone into the future and brought an artifact from the future and brought it to the present. And being in the present, when it started, and I know when Zoom started, people disdained it. Nobody even bothered about it. What is Zoom? I remember then when they said, I said Zoom, Zoom to where? Where am I zooming to? But Zoom is gradually going to become the new word for meeting, just like Google has become the new word for search. So if you want to keep your business on a sustainable platform, you want to manage your business sustainably, you also want to begin to think of what is the new thing? What is that new thing? What is that invention? What is that innovative processes I need to put in my business? In the area of my sales, what are the kind of conversations that I need to go into? What are the kind of thinking? What are the kind you task yourself to find out what ways can I change the landscape? What ways can I be disruptive? What kind of thing, what kind of idea would I put on the table that will break the table? That's what we're looking for in your conversation. So I'm speaking to Empire Food and every other group that's in this meeting tonight. Go away and think of what new thing are you going to bring in. Now, when I look at Empire Foods, I saw the kind of things they talked about, and I'm just asking myself, so what is the new thing that is coming up? What is that new thing that we can bring in? What are the signals that we are seeing? I mean, I attended um, the 10-year future forecast of the Institute for the Future, their conference last couple of months, and then we had different things happening. We have all sorts. I mean, even with food, future of food. And when I saw when Vivian said I should mentor the Empire Foods, I'm sorry I've not had the time to sit down and really look at you guys, but hopefully today I'm going to sit down and look at it and tell you guys some things that will change your story. What are the things they're thinking of in terms of food? There are things the foods that I mean that they make. It comes as paper. You look at it, it's paper, sheet of paper. But when you take it, chew it, it gives you the taste of the food. That's the feature of food. I had a porkless bacon. Porkless. Bacon is made from pork meat. They have all sorts of things happening. In China, they grow food in a lab, meat, not crops, meat. They grow meat in the lab. So you need to just put a few, just one or two particles, and then you watch it grow and become. I remember in one of our trainings in the Institute of the Future, we're talking about I I I I I talked about how, because I'm also a farmer, how one of the challenges I have in farming is that when I'm a poultry farmer, you breed birds, and then you want to have maybe like chicken laps, yeah. So for you to have a bag of chicken laps that contains, let's say for example, 40 drumsticks, yeah, you need to slaughter 20 birds. All right, can I
We are
go
with
on?
you, sir. Go on. We are with you. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So I was saying that one of the things I talked about, I mentioned at that training was, um, for me to produce a bag of containing 40 drumsticks, that's chicken laps. I need to slaughter 20 birds for me to have 40 laps, isn't it? Okay. So, and if what I'm producing is just chicken laps, because in certain climes, in say for example in Britain, there are certain things that are not in the food chain. So like your cow foot, your cow head, your cow tail, those things are not in the food chain. So if they slaughter a cow, all they just get out is the red meat, not even the pomo, which is what is a delicacy here in Nigeria. Before now, in Britain, back in the early 70s and so, those things are being thrown away. We went there and showed them that you can make money out of it. They used to throw them away. Those things were not in the food chain. But today, they sell everything in the cow meat. So I said to them, what about the situation where I can grow chicken laps, drumsticks, instead of having to raise a bird, full bird, slaughter it, and get rid of the other parts, which is useless to me, just save for the leg, laps. And they're like, whoa, can we set up a project for this? And that's some of the things that I'm looking at with the Empire Foods. What are the innovative and creative ways you can bring about, post-harvest loss? Are you going to stay? Can't you just uproot, and begin to process them immediately, instead of allowing it to go through the full maturity age of the produce? Can't you even stop the entire thing and grow it in a lab? And as it's coming out, it's being processed, converted into the finished product, so that there's no post-harvest loss at all. You eliminate that particular bit of harvesting the product, and then you go into the process of trying to recycle it. You know. So, and the interesting thing of all of this is that when you're creative in your business, it makes you to stand out. You stand out, in your business. You become the trailblazer. You become the best setter. You become the one that everybody wants to emulate. You become the one that everybody likes to follow, likes to copy. And when this happens, it puts you in command, and it gives you what we call in economics the first entrant advantage, which is what Google and Co. they're enjoying today. So to the point that your products, or whatever name you give to your products, say for example Empire Foods, will now become the generic name for any food processing company. So for example, you go to the market, that's why people go to the market and they want to buy Indomie. They actually want to buy noodles. They go to the market and say, please, I want to buy Indomie. And they bring Nunu meal. What I don't know what other variants they have in the market, and give to you. Now say, I don't have Indomie. Oh." The food seller will say, I don't have Indomie. Oh." He said, is that not Indomie? Maybe I don't know what they could, something chicken, a Mimi chicken. Is that not Indomie? Just like you have a Maggie cube. Meanwhile, what you're looking at is not cube. Although not cube has started, overtaking Maggie cube. They say, hey, see it now. Is that not Maggie? Give me the Maggie now. That's what I want. Meanwhile, it's not cube. He say, no, it's not cube. Bring it now. It's Maggie because that has become a generic name for the products of seasoning. Maggie cube seasoning. That's what happens to you when you are creative and innovative in your business. When you come in and disrupt the table, shake the table. In today's world, Uber and Bolt. Yeah, Bolt is trying to be, shoulder to shoulder, neck to neck. But people still say, me, Kenneth Nwokoro, I still say Uber in place of any of the local taxi companies. Get me an Uber. Like in Port Harcourt, I won't say Palm Drive. I say get me an Uber. So, but there's no Uber in Port Harcourt. I say I know there's no Uber. Get me any of those, call a cab, a kind of a thing. That's what it does to you. So when you bring artifacts from the future, you are useful in the present and you are relevant in the future. And the place of getting artifacts, the place of finding inventions, the place of getting new things done is a place of solitude and separation. You must be separated. If as a chief executive, as the MD, as the project manager, project director, you need to be separated. You need to keep yourself separated from noisy things. Ensure that you are quiet in yourself, in your inward self. If you look around the world, the greatest philosophers are usually marked with great inventions. For example, the Wright brothers, they invented the airplane. The world has never known any better thing than those airplanes. Even me, I'm still amazed. I fly a lot every now and then, every month, every week, but at every time I see a plane take off and land, I'm still amazed. I'm still looking at it. Hold on, please. Hold on, please. Sorry, I won't do that again. I told you that I was trying to get my daughter home. Okay, so the place of solitude and separation is the place of multiple inventions. So when you go out, seeking, to find out how things work, to create new inventions, to create new things, to create new processes, you must first and foremost be in solitude and separate yourself. Okay. Now, I want to go a bit philosophical, but I'll just leave that for another day. But so I guess I don't know if you've enjoyed the session. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to take it at this point in time. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I was enjoying the vitamins of management, vitamins of business, and I was actually looking out for more. But my question will be, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
as a startup, when you barely know the processes of business or how you can go about it, you could make mistakes along the way. Is there a specific process or a design that one must know to have a sustainable business enterprise?
Say that again.
Is there a specified process that every business startup should know, okay, to have a sustainable business enterprise?
Okay, so what I can do is I can share with you guys a video. I have a video on how to start a business. So in the first place, as someone who's going into business, the number of things that you need to take into consideration before you start a business. Um, there are five of them that I put together. First one is passion. Second one is what is my business doing? Is it solving a problem? Or is it creating pleasures? The third one is do I have the technical skill sets and competence, to do what I'm to go into this business. The fourth one is who are the people providing complementary services that I can partner with, that I can get into partnership with. And the last one is you burn all your bridges, ensure that you don't have any exit, don't have any return, option. So that for me is some of the things I have to consider for you to be able to run a sustainable business. To even start a business, these are things you need to have in mind. I said earlier on that most businesses they have a roller coaster experience. Most businesses have a roller coaster. I mean, small businesses have a roller coaster experience, in their in their startup days, and that's why I have. I mean, statistics says that over 80% of new businesses will not see will not celebrate their fifth year birthday or anniversary. And once you cross that fifth year mark, you're no longer a startup. Because according to definition, startups are businesses that are between 0 to 5 years. Once you cross the 5 years, your fifth year, you're no longer considered as a startup. You're probably now someone who is scaling up. So there are things, these are things for me, I think you need to have to keep you in your business that will not cost you. I mean, that will not make you to want to leave the business, to stay in it, following up with it. Ensuring that you stay in the business and you stay there because you love what you're doing and you do what you love. So for me, I think that's what it is really. These are things that you need to have, to be able to build a sustainable business. I thought you were going to ask me if if a startup, how do you apply, future thinking in being innovative in your business. What I was going to say to you is that in your business itself, your idea should be innovative enough. It should be a table breaker, it should be a disruptive idea. The people that brought Uber, Uber business, Uber model is, I mean, the aggregator model is all around, it's everywhere. If you look around, and they have different aggregators for different things. You bring people who provide services and you bring them together and you take a fee for providing that service. You bring people to meet them and take a fee from them. I have a few startups that I'm managing on behalf of Coca-Cola. Most of them are aggregators. The aggregators, they just aggregate businesses. And we say to them, you need to learn how to run the business first before you become an aggregator. So Uber, we probably started doing cab services. Whoever it is that brought out Uber, they did 1 or 2 years of cab services before they learned how to aggregate, to understand the system, the process, before they started doing aggregation. you know. So that's the way it works. You have to learn. You have to learn all of this and know how to do it for you to be sustainable in your business. I don't know if I've answered your question.
So
Vivian,
I have a question too.
please go ahead.
Okay, so I understand there are abundant innovative ideas in the world. I don't know, do you think all of the innovative ideas in the world are welcoming? Like I heard you mention growing food in the laboratory. Do you think they are sustainable, or when consumed they will be as good as growing as good as consuming food grown from the soil, like using the natural way, not modifying? the agricultural system.
Okay. And so what makes you think that the one you grow in the soil is a lot more healthier and it doesn't impact or affect people health wise? Because people still die from eating the ones you plant on the soil. One day, you said that the cancer level is more reduced back in the days, not as it is today. But the reason why those things you have all those cancer is because there are loads of catogenic, catogenic particles in the food that we eat, especially if you eat canned foods. All those particles get enmeshed or sort of seep into your food that you're eating, and that will begin to create different pathogenic cells in you, which will come together and become cancerous and become cancer, full-blown cancer. You know. So the food that you're growing in the lab is equally as good as the food that you're growing on the soil. Because if lab have all the conditions that you find outside, that's why the food grew in the lab in the first place. It's just like a test tube baby. Now, I try in my work as a futurist, I also try not to play God because God is supreme. He's Alpha and Omega. He made the whole world, and futurists are trying to. I know in my line of thought, I got to a point. I say, "Hey, Kenneth, hold it, hold it. You are beginning to step beyond your bounds as a human. Of course, God gave us creative powers, but we still need to, apply wisdom to it you know. So as a futurist, I need to be mindful of the kind of things. I mean, for myself as a futurist who is spiritually minded, I also need to be mindful of the kind of things I would say to people to do. Growing food in the lab is like growing a test tube baby. It's like growing a baby in a test tube because at some point the baby in the test tube will grow because the conditions in the test tube is similar to the conditions in the womb. They will now go and transfer the baby into the womb to stay for the rest of its gestation period before the baby is being delivered. So that's how it is. So growing food in the lab is the same thing as growing food in on the soil. Because for the food to grow in the lab is because the lab has the conditions that will permit those food to grow, the crops to the seedlings to germinate. It's similar to what you find outside. And the other thing to mention is that is even a lot more better because you have more. I mean, this is genetically modified, but it's a matter of modify the seedling for you to get the right mix of what you want, the right appearance, the right look and feel, and those sort of things, the perfect shape, perfectness, and all of those things. Thank you. Hello.
Okay, sir.
You didn't tell me your name. You didn't tell me your name. The next man that asked the question.
I think it's Emmanuel.
Okay, Emmanuel.
Oh, we lost him, I guess.
Oh,
Maybe I think he'll join back in. So talking about the genetically modified food, there are a lot of them. In fact,
yes.
we are concerned about having an organic food which is naturally grown
Mm,
and good
mm,
for our
mm,
health.
mm.
But at this point, when you mentioned about the synthetic growth and then the the meat, which in turn like becomes paper and all of that. So how healthy would that be? It's not healthy, and there is no way, as much as it seems or it looks sustainable, it is still not good to our health. It's against the SDG goal 3.
Sure.
That's one. And also with the competition we have at hand right now, we are focused on 7 important SDGs. So our ideas and all our business status should surround that. It has to eliminate poverty, it has to eliminate hunger, it has to be of good health and well-being. There's no synthetic, there's no genetically modified or anything. It has to be healthy for us. And creating of job opportunities and making sure that it's affordable, which is reduced inequalities. So it can be reached, which is the innovative part of it. So for everyone to get access to that product or to that meal has to be very innovative. So, sir, talking about innovative, does it mean that innovative centers around technology alone, or there are other means you can be innovative without applying technology?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question and I'm very intelligent one as well. So innovation is,
Hello,
you
sir.
know, yes, hello.
Okay, I had a poor network reception, so I had to go to a better place.
Okay, okay,
Yes, I
that's
didn't
fine.
get the reply of my question.
Okay, I'm sure Vivian will circulate the recordings. Vivian, are you recording?
Pardon?
Are you recording? You're recording.
Yes, I
So
am.
you can circulate the recording so people could.
So, so you didn't answer the question, sir.
Yes, I answered it. I answered it. I'm just trying to answer Vivian's question on innovation being technology wise. Now you know that at every phase in life. I mean, this is the fourth industrial revolution. That's what we're in right now. The revolution of technology. So at every time you have different things happening at every time in none of this dispensation. So in this dispensation, everything innovation is technology. I will tell you that. Everything that has to do with innovation is technology. If you're saying you don't want to produce synthetic food, now I'm not an advocate of those kind of meals. I'm an organically grown person. I believe in organic growth. I don't believe in induced growth. Neither do I believe in simulated growth and those sort of things. No, I don't believe in that. But using technology in your business in the area of food, so there are different ways to do it. There are ways, I mean, like in Israel, for example, they have technology, they have gadgets that will identify fruits that are ripened enough for them to begin to pluck them. So they have cherry pickers that go and pluck, fruits from the trees just by a mere touch, and they know this one is ripened, this one can go, or this cannot go. They've done some things, they've technologified their processes, so they're able to effectively and easily manage their process, their agricultural processes. Now, I saw a video. I'm going to share that video with you. I saw a video where cows in Britain uh, they have sensors on them. They have the collar that they're wearing would when they're ready to be milked. Now they don't need humans to milk them. When they're ready to be milked, they head straight to the milking chamber. Now, if they're not milked at the right time, the quality or the nutrients in the milk reduces. So if they're supposed to be milked right now and they don't get milked now, because the humans cannot tell whether the cow is ready to be milked or not, the nutrients will begin to reduce. So what people have done is that they've built AIs, machine learning, into the process of knowing when the cow itself knows when it's supposed to be milked. But because the cow cannot tell you, hey, Vivian, please, I need to be milked now. They put a collar on the cow. The cow will tell itself. It will generate some signals, some sensation that will trigger that process in the collar, that the cow will begin to walk towards the milking chamber. And once it gets there, the AI, of course, that's what they call Internet of Things. The collar on the neck will speak with machines at the milking chamber, the machines will adjust to that particular the order of the cow. It will adjust itself to fit into it because they have different teeth. That's the breast. It will fit into it and begin to milk the cow. And at the same time, the sensor on the collar will speak to the feeding trough to bring some hay so that as the cow is being milked, is being fed with some treats or delights. And that's a process that's been technologified. That particular process will obviously produce better milk than where you have people having their cow. They just look at it and say, they look at how big the cow udder is, the breast, how dropping it is, and they go and begin to milk it, which is not the right time. They have milked the cow probably like 2 hours ago and gotten a better quality of milk. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that's innovation and technology at work. That's them both together at play. Is that okay? Are you there?
I'm here. I got that, sir. So well, we'll walk around it. I have something to say, so I don't bust the bubble of some of the ideas here. But yeah, we could chat privately in the rooms, the team that have such ideas. And tomorrow we'll be having our first pitching experience.
mm.
So yes, we would like to have you there if you don't mind.
Okay.
So we are open to corrections. All the competitors, they are in their individual group. We're going to have that on Zoom.
Okay.
So everybody can talk about their idea, how innovative it is, and to know where and how we can help them, put them together or help them correct a few things.
Okay.
So they don't make it during the semi-final next week. So
Okay.
from then we are going to select the top 10 teams that will move over.
I hope my team wins.
So they need you. They need you, honestly. They need you at this point. So we
Are
just
they in
want to
the
give them
room?
the platform.
Are they in the
Yes, to give
room?
them the
Are they in the
platform.
room now?
I think they should be.
And from that's his name. It's the guy who's been chatting me up. Is he in the
Yes.
room?
No, he's not at the moment, but he was.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, he was, but not at the moment. So this is eye-opening, sir. The business management and the design. I will also be looking out for the funding, the negotiation, and the marketing as well
Mm,
of
mm.
of the business.
Yes.
So can you throw more light on the pitching because some of
Okay.
us will be
Okay. So
pitching tomorrow.
let me just quickly say this. I've actually I've opened the pitch deck presentation, but it'll be quick, so that I can just give me a sec, please. I'll just use another.
Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm so excited to be part of this. It make I learn a lot. It make I learn a lot, really. Okay. When I listen to the various speakers speaking, you know, it's keeping me motivated. You know, it's make me learn a lot as a businessman. You have to be innovative.
and that one. And things that a businessman or entrepreneur should bear in mind also when you want to go about a business is you have to look at the demand of the community or the areas or the people or where you want to do the business. Look at the demand and look at the location also. It's another thing you should bear in mind when you want to start up a business.
Are you asking a question, sir? Hello? Hello? Okay. Hello, Mr. Kenneth, are you there?
Yeah, I want to ask question.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Kenneth.
Okay, sorry. I was just trying to be sure my daughter, she's gotten home. Let me quickly run through this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just quickly talk about what a pitch deck should look like. Some of the do's and the don'ts of a pitch deck. Can you see my screen?
Awesome. So please, can you go back to the first slide? I think I like what I saw.
No, it's not that one. Hold on. So
Okay.
What the first things I need to talk about is in the pitch deck, you need to put the first things first. Yeah. So the first thing that you throw in, once you put the first thing, then other things can then be thrown in. But if you put the second things first, then you lose both the first and second things. This is a quote made popular by C.S. Lewis. So you need to put the first things first in a pitch deck. And what are those first things that you need to put in your pitch deck? What are the first things that you need to put in? Can I get someone, talk about it? Let me just see your level of imagination. Quickly, so we can close and go home.
Hello, sir. Can I say something about
Yes.
presenting a pitch?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. The first thing you're to present, it's going to be an overview of what your idea is, what you intend to achieve, and how you intend to achieve it. So you're going to expatiate all of the ideas you've got in mind, or what your group has to present. So, and you're going to go by the business modeling canvas. That's what you're going to present. Then if you succeed this first level, I think then you'll be catapulted to the next level, which I don't know about. So that's it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other view, any other opinion?
Well, for me, I'd say that the first step is knowing what your idea is. What is your idea and who your ideas are for? The categories of people and, or the locations or, the key partners, those who are going to be key consumers of that idea.
Okay.
For me.
Okay, that's fine. Any other person? One more, and I'll quickly wrap up this session. Okay, so one of the first things you need to consider or you need to talk about is what problem are you coming to solve? What is the problem? A pitch deck is totally different from your business model canvas. What is the problem that you are addressing? In Nigeria, there are loads of post-harvest losses. And then we, so Empire Foods Limited is poised or set up to address that particular challenge. That's why it's a pitch deck. You're coming to sell an idea. You're coming to sell what you're doing, looking at a problem in society. So the first thing you need to put in, first thing you need to throw in there is the problem, the challenge, difficulty, the gap. Yeah. Once that is done, so what I'm showing now is the typical slide that you should have in a pitch deck. So the first thing is your problem. What is the problem that you're coming to solve? What is the challenge that you're coming to address? So your slide should be not more than 10 slides. Let me go back. Let me go back and I'll come to that again. Now, if you look at this, the basic rules for a presentation, a pitch deck presentation is you must be audience centric, you must be audience focused. Who are my audience? So, like for tomorrow, who are the people that are going to listen to me? Are they my funders or are they my peers? Are they people who are just, are they people who are coming to validate what I've said? So you need to couch your presentation to suit the particular audience that you're presenting to. So, but you need to know who these people are first. For you to begin to plan and channel your presentation mode. You don't go into a presentation where you're talking to seniors and you're
It's the
coming
person
there.
with the noisy background.
I don't know.
Some,
I don't know.
please, someone with noisy background.
Oh,
Please mute your speaker or your microphone.
Sorry about that, so I can go on.
We're listening. Sir.
Okay, so you don't go to a presentation where you're talking to, maybe you're speaking to the governor and his team, and then you're going there to crack, to just be shabbily dressed, very very slazzy and just unkept, and then you're speaking from both sides of the mouth, you're just talking, without any consideration. No, you need to be audience focused. You need to be audience centric. You need to be focused on the audience. Who are they? So for tomorrow's event, you need to find out who are the people coming to that event. Are they people that will qualify me? Are they people who will validate my speech or validate my idea? Do I want to talk to them as my peers? Because when you talk to your peers, it's not the same way you talk to your superiors. Hold on, please.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Sir, you there?
Give him a
Okay.
second. Give
Yes,
him a
just
second.
just a minute, please. Okay, sorry guys. Hello? Hello? Okay, sorry. So what I'm saying is, so the your audience will determine your manner of approach, your appearance, your demeanor, And then the third thing to consider is you also need to spice your presentations with some kind of stories. Tell a joke if you can, but don't crack a joke that people will not laugh at, because if you do that, you've actually spoiled your presentations. You need to be sure that the joke that you're going to crack is a funny one that people will laugh at. Because usually you probably don't have enough time for your presentation. Now, the way it works is that now the way it works is when you meet a funder, a potential investor, you pitch your business. You have your elevator speech, which is a 2 minutes. Before it used to be 5 minutes, but now it's been brought down to 2 minutes, or if not even maybe like a minute, because the elevators we have these days, can actually get to the 17th, 20th, 30th floor within 2 minutes. Back in the days, the elevators will have probably go for like 5, 10 minutes to get to the C suite, where the chief executives, the C level management staff will normally sit. That's why they call it 5 minutes elevator speech. So that period within which the elevator goes from the ground floor to their C suites, you'd have been able to sell your idea to them. Now, the essence of that conversation is for you to get an invitation to come back and make your pitch deck presentation. And in this pitch deck presentation, you have rules to follow, which are the things I've listed to you. So you have the other bit, which is, asking, there's what we call the 10-20-30 rule of presentation. Now, who knows what that means? 10-20-30 rule. Who knows what that means? Anybody? Am I speaking to myself?
Second, please. He'll join us. No, you're not. You're not, sir.
You're together.
Okay.
Who knows what that means? 10-20-30 rule of presentation.
No idea, sir.
And you guys are going for a pitching competition tomorrow. Okay, so 10-20-30 rule means your slides should not be more than 10 slides. So by a rule of thumb is every pitch deck, you should never, in fact, it's not like it's an unwritten rule. It's a written rule that your pitch deck should never be more than 10 slides. Max 12 slides, because you have the opening slide, which is your basic salutation, and then your closing slide, which is your thank you for listening. Those are the first and 12th slide. The 10 slides in between will be the main conversation. 20 is not more than 20 minutes. Not more than 20 minutes. If you stay more than 20 minutes, you're talking jargon, you're talking rubbish. You're speaking gibberish. You're saying what doesn't matter. You're saying things that are incoherent. Because these chief executives, they are very, very busy. They are busy as a bee. 20 minutes is even too much to sell your idea to a chief executive. 20 minutes is too much to sell an idea to a chief executive. It's too long the time. So it's for you to concentrate on allocate minutes per slide That's the way to do it. You have 10 slides, you have 20 minutes. What that means is for every slide that you spend more than 2 minutes, you're wasting your time. I've gone for an interview before in Britain when I just left university, where they said to me that I have 5 minutes to make a speech. So what did I do? I had 5 slides. So each slide, I timed myself that each slide I'm going to spend not more than 1 minute for each slide. But I bungled that interview for very obvious reasons. Something as clumsy as spending almost 6 minutes in a 5 minutes presentation. That's the first reason why I bungled that interview. The second reason was because my slides were of 2 different orientations. Those are things you need to be watchful and mindful of. Now, the 30 rule is you should not exceed 30. The font size of your slides should not be, of the letterings should not be more than 30. Should not be less than. And that's because your slides are supposed to be like a talking guide, like guide you into your presentations. It's not a note. It's not for people to read. It's not for people to read. If I had the time, I would have shown you a couple of number of pitch decks that have helped people to work on, to improve. So you can see that they're just saying boom, 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 bullet points, this, bullet point, this, bullet point, this. Simple. And then the person who is presenting will talk to it. So that's like a reminder. So the typical slide, a pitch deck, will flow in this manner. Your first slide will be your problem. What is the problem or challenge that you're coming to address? The second will be the solution that you're bringing. The third one will be what business model are you what business model are you engaging, or are you utilizing? Now there are business models everywhere, whether it's a greater model, whether it's organic model, what business model are you using? You need to read up and find out what is the name of that business model. The fourth one is the underlying magic or technology. What are you going to use? What are you using? We talked about, I spoke to you guys about the use of AIs and machine learning, that you can channel a cow to its milking chamber, and then the milking gadget will fit into the particular cow, the teats, and then it will milk, and it will send signals to the feeding trough to send the hay for the cow to be excited and delighted. The fifth slide will talk about your marketing and sales channel. How do you intend to get into the market? Now, it's not for you to put you on the slide. Marketing, we use this, we do this. It's for the person that is presenting to now begin to say, this is how we intend to do it within the 2 minutes that you're supposed to speak on each slide. Then the sixth slide talks about your competition. You need to know who your competition is. If you don't know your competition, you're not ready for business. You need to know who your competitors are. You need to know what are they doing. You need to know what are they offering. What is the quality of their products? What is it that they are bringing to the market? That's for competition. Then the seventh slide is your team. Who are these people that are doing the work? Oh my guys, what is it that they are doing? What competence do they have? Because that's very, very important when you're pitching for funding, for equity, for support. The people who are going to put money in your team, they need to know whether these people have the competence, have the ability, have the know-how, to pull through, the business. Whether they know how to turn around their money into some returns, or are they going to give them money and they run away with it, or they run the company aground? That's talking about team. And the eighth slide should be on projections and milestones. What is your projection? Now, when you write a business plan, you normally would have your forecast. So when people look at your business plan, one of the things they look at your sales channel, and they look at your forecast, your projections. I'm projecting that I'm going to sell number X units of this at this amount. That will give us an inkling of what your returns will be in the future, in the next 2, next 3, the next 5, the next 10 years, where you'll be. We're able to project the business. And so if this company is selling this unit of product at Y amount of money, this is where they'll be in a year's time. We'll do the extrapolation. That's something that you need to put in there. And then number 9 is your status. What is the status of the company, of the business, and the timeline? What are the timelines? How many months or how many years will it take us to procure and install the processor that we're asking for? And once that is done, what will it yield? What will happen thereafter? How long will it take us to achieve or attain this milestone? And then, of course, lastly, the summary and the call to action. Call to action is, what are you asking for? You must state your ask. You must state your ask. If you don't have your ask, then you have not asked, you've not done any pitch. You know, this is similar to what I talked about, a more graphical representation. So you have a problem, you have the industrial analysis, which is your what is the playing field, what's happening in the space, what are the challenges, what are the solutions that you are bringing, what is the opportunity in the business, what is the market, business model, composition, your team, and then of course your financial requirements. Yeah. So that's the best I can talk about. I need to run off. I'm looking at your counter. It's showing almost two hours. I've been talking for the past 2 hours. Come on, Vivian, what did you tell me to get me to come and sit and be talking to you guys?
Oh no.
Hours.
You know,
Wow.
I guess I was really articulated when I sent the message. So I learned from you the negotiation aspect and the pitching and everything.
Uh, sorry, before you round up, sir, may I ask a question?
I've already rounded up.
Sorry,
I rounded up.
you have.
I have. I've rounded up. So go ahead.
It's a brief one, sir. I just want to get your view as a professional, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. The question is, since we are going to pitch as a group, is there any or are there appropriate ways of presenting as a group, or should the presentation be handled by a single person or each member?
I think it's okay. Don't go too far. You put your best foot forward. If you have a good talker in your group that can sell, because what the person is doing is to go and sell your is going to sell your market. If it's Igbo, they say sell your market. What that's what the person is going to do.
That's a good accent.
Yeah, yes, it's a good accent, yeah. By the way, I'm Igbo, so it should be difficult for me to wear an Igbo accent, even though I spot a few of this. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So get someone who can sell. If I'm in a group, usually they will say, Kenneth, do this for us. It doesn't take long to find out someone who is a good marketer, someone who can sell anything, sell ice cubes to the Eskimos. That's the kind of person you need in your pitch deck presentations tomorrow. So you should have known yourself in your interactions. You should have known someone who can actually, someone who is very, very eloquent, who can play around with words, who can tell stories, who can weave conversations and weave out of it. Someone who will be willing to answer questions. Now, the question and answer component is not for the presenter alone, because the presenter might not have the full knowledge of your products. So everybody will stand and respond and back the presenter when it's time to answer the questions. So during presentation, as a group, you should get someone, one person to present on your behalf, and then even try to maybe get one person to present slide 1 to slide 3, get another person to present from slide 4 to slide 5 or 6, get another person to present from 7 to 10, so that it's all inclusive. No, you waste a lot of time doing that. You don't have time. I don't know how many minutes is allocated for your presentation. I think I saw somewhere where, yes, Vivian, am I allowed to say that I saw something posted on the mentors group? How many minutes?
Yes, I go on.
I think you said it's 6 minutes, but is it 6 minutes or 4? I know everything is about 10 minutes or so, or is it 12 minutes? You know, 6 minutes for presentation and 6 minutes for questions and answer. If that is that what it is, Vivian? So you can imagine that
Yes,
you have 10
sir.
slides to present under 6 minutes. How many minutes would that be for each slide? Okay, so you need to get someone that can actually clearly articulate everything, have it at the tip of their fingers, and make that presentation, make a blasting presentation tomorrow. That will earn a spot on the first 10. Okay?
Thank you, sir. You deserve a Nobel for this, sir.
Are you serious?
This will really help some groups, sir. That's true. Having different people presenting will really reduce the performance because some persons are not business oriented.
For sure.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
So, sir,
All right.
so I'm going to chip something in now
Okay.
based on the summary you mentioned. Know your ask. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I really
yeah.
need to understand more on that slide. Knowing your ask. How do you want us to place it? How do you want us to ask? Or what are those keywords that that
Yeah,
is required
okay.
of us to use?
Okay, so you can say things like, you can put it there that if you like there's a group that I reviewed there's a group that I just started mentoring. It was last week. We went for a pitch deck presentation to a group of investors. They were asking for 55.5 million. When I saw it, I said, "What? You're asking for how much? 55.5 million?" I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Okay. It's 55.5 million. How many percent of it have you done in your transactions? As an established company, how many percent of it have you executed in your transactions?" They're short of words. I said, if I'm sitting as an investor, this is the question I'm going to ask. If you're asking for 55.5 million, I'll be wondering, what do they want to do with this kind of amount of money? If I give you 55.5 million, are you not going to run mad? You know? So you need to be specific. I need to be prudent in your ask. Now I don't know how much is the prize money, but I think what you should be asking is, please include me in the top 10. That should be your ask, not money. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. If you're asking for money, you need to put it there. If it's 10 million, you say, based on our presentations, we want to formally ask for your support to grow our business with your injection of 10 million naira as a grant to us. Thank you. Did you get that?
Yes, sir. That's
Yes,
clear.
sir.
I mean, there's no right way to say it, but you just have to find very creative ways, of present. I mean, if you're asking someone for some favor, you have to find ways, to play around with it. Please do this for me. Please do this and those sort of things. You know.
Okay, so there are no particular keywords for that.
Yes,
no,
sir.
no, none. Very
It's a
none.
creative and innovative closure.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, this we didn't even know that we were going to spend this long. I wish
I didn't,
that
I didn't
we
too.
just need to close for the day.
Say what?
We'll call you up very soon, sir.
Okay, not a trouble. Viga, you're just one phone call away. You know what to do to get me to speak for 2 hours. Please don't do it again. Don't do it again.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you
All right. Thank you.
so
Thank you.
Thank
much
you,
sir,
sir.
for your
It's good having
time.
you on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
I appreciate, sir.
this.
You've